Hello everyone, today I would like to introduce the section 3.4.2 of the Switch User Manual. The Pvlan function. The Pvlan settings and the Vlan function of the AVCOMM switch are used to further subdivide and isolate network devices within a single Vlan. It can provide a higher level of network isolation, which is very beneficial for improving network security, performance, and resource utilization. First, let's check out the Pvlan settings. Log into the web management interface of the switch. After entering the web interface, click on the Vlan option on the left and in the Vlan settings drop-down, click on Pvlan settings. Over here, the Vlan ID will display the newly created Vlan number. Private Vlan type can be selected from different types. The None type indicates that the Vlan is not set in a dedicated Vlan. The Primary type indicates that the Vlan is the primary Vlan. Means other member ports can communicate with auxiliary ports. The Isolated type represents isolated Vlan. Here the member ports in the Vlan are isolated from each other, therefore are not allowed to communicate. The Community type represents a community Vlan. The member ports in this Vlan are allowed to communicate with each other. Under Pvlan settings drop-down, click on Pvlan port settings. This interface allows user to configure corresponding port properties and permissions for each Vlan. There are three types of Pvlan port types. Normal type, which can retain its original Vlan settings for the non-Pvlan port. Host type, can communicate with other ports connected to the same primary Vlan. And the promiscuous type is a hybrid port that can be selected to communicate with any port. The Vlan ID after the type refer to the Vlan to which the port belongs. The private Vlan association settings refer to private Vlan associations. It can be configured to associate a port with a private Vlan, allowing the port to communicate with other ports in the private Vlan. This association can be bidirectional or unidirectional. Now, under the Pvlan settings drop-down, click on Pvlan status. This page allows users to view Pvlan status information, such as Vlan ID, Pvlan mode, Pvlan corresponding port, etc. Thanks for watching.